Hello everybody, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays! Today we are going to be going over Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the world, and seeing how I would have judged it. The rules to remember, as always, are the season has to be as long as the season originally was, which was 6 episodes, 5 competitive episodes in the finale, and the performances and the challenges need to be based off of how well someone did or how people would predict they would do. So I'm not just going to put somebody in the top when they were in the bottom and vice versa, unless there's a strong fan opinion that that should be the case. The goal of these videos, as always, is to act as if I'm the head judge and craft the season however I can imagine and make it as fun and eventful as possible, while also being fair with my judging of the season by combining my own personal taste and what was shown to us on the show. Alrighty, so let's get this cracking with episode 1. And before we even continue further, I gotta say, this cast is just immaculate to me. Like, literally everybody in this cast I feel like is an icon, and I just like staring at them while making this, I was like, oh my god, this cast is like supreme. I would watch a full another season of Drag Race with just this cast again. I don't fucking care what challenges they do. I would watch this whole season. I would watch the whole season over again with fucking same cast, new challenges. You know what I mean? So episode 1, it is the girl groups challenge to Bonjour Hi. Um, and obviously the groups are going to be split into the same groups as they were originally. And I decided to do one contestant from each group in the top, not like as like a rule that I wanted to have one from each in the top. That's just kind of how it ended up being. I felt that Vanity and Isis's verses were by far the best, at least in my opinion. I mean, fashion, beauty, runway pose. Isis nails it on the nose. It's been stuck in my head literally since the episode came out. So I think it's totally makes sense for Isis to be in the top here. And I decided to put Victoria Scone as high because I thought she did by far the best in her group, and honestly, she was my third favorite. I've flown across the ocean to give a piece of me. That's the other part of really any of the verses that like has repeated in my head this long. I do think Vanity's done the best, however, in this challenge, regardless of the fact that I keep remembering and like Isis and Victoria's parts are stuck in my head. I think Vanity just in my opinion, objectively, obviously that means it's subjective, but I feel like she just did the best in this challenge. Her performance was great. She killed it, and yeah, Vanity obviously deserved to be in the top here. The only other person I was really considering putting as high was Raja. She was the one where I was like, I'm not sure, because she was high originally, and she did do a pretty good job, but I honestly preferred Victoria's verse. Continuing in the placements, Rita Baga and Silkina Ganache are also going to place safe. Rita was originally in the top for this challenge. I don't feel like she should have been, but I saw people online saying that she should have been in the bottom, and there's no way she should have been in the bottom. Her verse was pretty solid, and her runway was also pretty solid. It was a perfectly safe performance for Rita Baga in this week for me. The bottom three are going to be exactly the same as they were. Anita Wickle is going to place low, not because of her performance, but mostly because of her runway. Her runway was just not speaking as well as the rest of the rest of the people's runways were. And looking at it, I don't know exactly where I'd place it first, but I'd probably place it third worst as well, maybe fourth worst. I don't even know. I guess it would have to be third worst because I can't imagine anybody safer above being under her, so never mind. And then the bottom two are going to be Stephanie Prince and Kendall Jenner. They're the only ones that you can visually see in the performances like actually like messing up what they were doing. So for those reasons, I think it purely only makes sense for those two to be in the bottom. Vanity Milan and Isis Couture are going to lip sync to "Brand New Bitch" by Anjali, which would be an amazing. I think that'd be such a good lip sync with Isis in there. I do think here that Vanity would win because Vanity this whole episode is kind of centered around Vanity wanting to like prove herself after her last season. So I would say that Vanity would probably win this, and also I do think that it would be close anyway. Like I don't think any one of them is like either Isis or Vanity would blow the other out of the water. I think they do pretty similarly, so I think I'd still give the win to Vanity. Vanity, as she did originally, is going to eliminate Kendall Jenner, and we are going to move on to episode 2. Episode 2, we have the Snatch game. Now, originally, there were the top 2 of this episode, and then there were 2 lows and the bottom 2. I decided to not do that because I don't like doing that. And so really all the placements are exactly the same, except I decided to take Victoria Scone out of the low placement that she had, because I do think out of Victoria and Silky, Victoria did better. So I just moved her up to safe. And I think out of Rita or Vanity, really the only two options for who could place high, I do think Vanity did better. So I put Vanity in the high placement. But otherwise, every single other placement is exactly the same as it was originally. Isis Couture and Raja O'Hara are going to be the top two. They blew this challenge out of the water. I mean, it was not even close. They did such a good job in this challenge, the both of them. And then Silky is going to place low. She did originally, and the bottom two are going to be Anita Wigglett and Stephanie Prince. Because they didn't do a stellar job in this challenge, and I wish they would have, because I do think I do think there's definitely potential for Anita to do well in this challenge, because she won this challenge on her original season, but she just did not do it on this season, sadly. It just was too repetitive this time around. But Isis Couture and Raja O'Hara are the top two. And they are going to be lip syncing to Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne, which is such a fun song, and I'm so happy that it was finally used on Drag Race. And I do think Isis won this lip sync. I think she did a better job than Raja here. So that's going to stay the same, and as she did originally, she will be eliminating Stephanie Prince from the competition. So pretty similar episode, pretty similar results, pretty solid episode of Drag Race. I mean, fucking Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister, crazy. And also just like a generally alright Snatch game. So yeah, moving on to episode 3. Alrighty, episode 3 is the Ball Challenge. And like last episode, really only one placement was changed. Originally, Isis Couture and Raja O'Hara were both called a safe, but I decided to move Isis up to the high spot because in a 7-person episode, I would, this is exactly the format I would do. I would not do 2 safes like that. So I decided that one of them had to be moved up to a high spot, and I do think Isis did better. So she's going to place high. The top 2 are going to be Silky and Victoria, as they were originally. They both did great in this challenge. Like, I mean, the fucking Fabio moment is iconic. It is iconic. I loved it. Raja's safe. Vanity is going to place low. She did originally. Her outfits, like, her first outfits are pretty dang good, but that final outfit was just kind of, it was tight enough that final outfit just kind of knocked her to the low placement. And Rita Baga and Anita Wigglett are going to be the bottom 2 here. Victoria and Silky are going to lip sync to Nobody's Supposed to Be Here, the Hex Hector mix, which I believe that's the second time that song's been used on Drag Race, and that joins the multiple times there's been lip sync songs, because I believe that was the lip sync song. Yeah, that was the lip sync song for BB and who am I forgetting? Jesus, BB and what is it? And Bendela Creme. Jesus Christ, my brain couldn't process the word Bendela Creme. Yeah, on the like Kitty Girl episode, or where what was it? Like the girl groups episode of All Stars 3, where they had to do was it Drag Up Your Life and Sitting on a Secret. Yes, that was the lip sync song that episode. So that joins the realm of other songs like that, but that's just random trivia that I thought of. And as originally, Silky will be winning this lip sync, and she will be sending home Anita Wigglett. And we will be moving on to episode 4. Now, episode 4 is going to be a little bit different than it was originally, because Isis Couture decides to quit in this episode. And if you've seen my video about Drag Race quits, then you will know that I fucking love Isis Couture. Isis Couture is like in my top 5 favorite drag queens, just of all time. On Drag Race, off Drag Race, just of all time. Isis Couture is an icon to me. So, very sad episode, but because Isis quits in this episode, there is no need for there to be any other elimination. So in my brain, why would anybody be put in the bottom in the first place? I mean, I understand why they kind of went through the whole rigmarole of putting people in the bottom and stuff, but to me, it kind of just feels like wasted time and space. And I think after Isis quits, I would have wanted to see, more joy happen. So I would have just prefaced what's like the placements are being called to be like, everybody's safe. The top 2 are just going to lip sync for the win and for, $10,000 or whatever the prize was that episode. I think it was a trip actually on episode 4, which that's a gripe that I have I'm going to talk about for a second. Why weren't all of the prizes money? Because like, obviously a trip is great, but like, if the bitch that lip synced before me and won got $10,000 and I got a fucking like trip to, I don't know, whatever country, like a week long trip, I'm like, I want the $10,000. Like I don't like a trip is great, but like money, I need money, honey. Like I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. But regardless, in this episode, they did the like comedy. It wasn't a roast, but it was like a comedy roast situation. Like you could kind of make it whatever you want, is what they did. And I think Victoria and Silky, as was originally, they did the best in this challenge for sure. Even though Silky's story is entirely made up, which is really funny to me. That her story is just fucking fake, and she's just like, yeah, this is the story. Here's the challenge. Here you go. Um, so they're going to be the top two. Raja, Rita, and Vanity are all going to be safe for this episode. Since nobody else is going home and they're not in danger of being eliminated, they all play safe by default. Victoria and Silky are going to lip sync to Your Daddy Don't Know by Toronto. And I don't know why I said Toronto like that. I know it's Toronto, but whatever. And Victoria Scone is going to win this lip sync. I also said her name wrong just then. Victoria Scone. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, they are going yeah, Victoria's going to win, get her vacation, I believe, is what it was. And we're going to move on to episode 5. Already, episode 5, we have the Spy Queens challenge. And the placements are going to be exactly the same as they were originally. I saw some people online saying that Rita should not have been in the top of this episode, but in my opinion, Rita did a great job this episode. I know the critique of her, only like playing like older people, but like this was the first time she did it this season, really. I mean, she did do Gilda for Snatch Game, but she wasn't like acting like old in Snatch Game at all to me. I think she killed this episode, and I think people really sleep on Rita Baga because she was given a couple challenge wins that might not have been necessarily deserved, and they blame it on her, and it's really unfortunate because Rita Baga is a stellar drag queen in my opinion. Like, if I want a queen to do, like, camp for me, Rita Baga is one of the names at the top of my list. Like, genuinely. She's a stellar drag queen. And if you're sending if you're sending hate to Rita, then go fuck yourself. So, yeah, Rita and Victoria are going to be the top two as they were originally. Raja is going to play safe because we don't do any bullshit, if you're not on the top, you're on the bottom situations, which I'm glad that Canada's Drag Race did not do this season. Hopefully, other All-Star seasons in the future that have this format end up doing that, because I hate that if you're not on the top, you're on the bottom. Like, I don't understand. I generally don't understand there ever being more than a bottom two. Like, I can maybe understand a bottom three if it's like you're split into like groups of 3 and it's judged in those teams, then like I can take that, like that's fine. But like I don't understand if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom with the All-Star format. It does not make sense to me. It just doesn't. And yeah, the bottom two are going to be Silky and Vanity. So Rita and Victoria are going to lip sync to Freak by Estelle featuring Cardinal Official. And Rita is going to win this lip sync. And because Silky and Rita had their little like alliance going on, Rita is going to send home Vanity here. So our top 4 is the same as it originally was, just with some placements shifted around a little bit. So let us get to that finale. Since our top 4 is the same as it was originally, the lip sync matchups are going to be the same. So the first matchup was Raja O'Hara versus Victoria Scone, and they lip synced to Do It by Nelly Furtado featuring Missy Elliott. And I do think Raja definitely won that lip sync. Going into the finale, I was kind of, like, I love Raja O'Hara, but I was kind of hoping for Victoria or Silky to win the season, not gonna lie. I just thought they really excelled this season, and I was like, I really feel like they just fucking killed it. Raja kind of had the, like, start off the season doing great and then kind of, like, fell towards the end, a little bit. Not, like, actually, she, like, I'm not saying that they portrayed her as, like, oh, she's doing bad now, but, that's what her track record kind of was, whereas we kind of saw, like, it was more of, if you start off high and you kind of lower down, it kind of feels a little bit worse than you starting off low and soaring, you know what I mean? But regardless, Raja definitely won that lip sync for sure. And The second lip sync was from fucking shit from Rita Baga, and Silky Ganache to Broken Bones by Love Inc. And Silky absolutely won the lip sync for sure, but Rita did not do a bad job either, and neither did Victoria and her lip sync. They both did pretty alright jobs. It was just very clear that Raja and Silky ended up winning their lip syncs. The final lip sync was River Deep Mountain High by Celine Dion. Um, it was Raja versus Silky, and I feel like they did pretty equally. And it kind of was a bit of a toss up, but I decided to give the win to Raja O'Hara because in this scenario, in this season, Raja has a better track record than Silky, and I believe potentially might have had it originally as well. I can't actually no, yeah, she definitely has a better track record than Silky originally as well. So because she has a better track record, Raja is going to win the season, and Raja O'Hara is literally just fully an icon. I mean, Raja O'Hara, she could slap me in the face, and I'd be like, "Thank you, Raja O'Hara, for thank you for your service." She's an amazing drag queen. She's great at what she does. And even though I wasn't initially rooting for Raja going into the finale specifically, once Raja was crowned, I was like, you know what? That's exactly what needed to happen. It's a great way to close out the year for Drag Race. And also Raja's birthday's in like a week, so good birthday present. Also Silky's birthdays, they have the same birthday, which is weird. Very parallels all across. Love it. Let's get to the track records. So with this scenario, Raja's track record actually looks kind of odd. It really looks very odd. But you know, that's what it is. Safe wins, safe. And I mean, hey, one of the highest safe percentages to win. I actually definitely tied with fucking what the fuck's her name? Electra Bionic. um, yes, Jesus, sorry. But yeah, in this scenario, Raja has the second best track record out of the final four, whereas originally she has the third because I believe it's Victoria, then Rita, um, or is it? Yeah, it's Victoria, then Rita, then Raja, then Silky. But in the scenario, it's Victoria, then Raja, then Silky, then Rita. Um, so yeah, that is kind of it. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I wasn't sure exactly how to write Isis's PPE score, and because she is in the fourth episode, but like she doesn't participate in the challenge or anything. So the first number listed there is if you consider her being in that fourth episode and her getting 0 points for it, that would be, you know, then all those numbers added up. And the second number is if you just don't count her as in the fourth episode and you just add up the first 3 episodes points. I wasn't sure exactly what to put there, so I just put both. And I was like, you know, choose your own headcanon for that. I don't, it's not that big of a deal, but you know, I just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, honestly, great season of Drag Race. I really enjoyed it. And thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you wish. And yeah, this might be a bit of a shorter video, but you know, this is literally coming out on Christmas Day, so I ain't trying to do all that, you know. I also just remembered that literally there is a different lip sync winner for like the win every single episode of the season, which I think might be the first. It's definitely the first time this ever happened on an All Stars, which is super cool to me. That you know we can have 5 different people can just like demolish like a lip sync in an episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. As always, take care. See ya. Bye bye.